For this repair, you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, and a Bob PetHair Slam main brush motor. Keep all the removed screws and parts for later reassembly. Before starting, power off Bob by pressing and holding the go button. Bob will chime and turn off. Flip Bob on his back and place him on a soft surface to avoid damaging the SLAM LiDAR cover. Next, remove the battery. Remove the two screws on the battery cover to access the battery. Unplug the battery and set it aside. Then remove the side brushes. Pull up to remove each of the left and right side brushes. Then remove the main brush. Pinch the tabs on the brush gate and lift. Lastly, remove Bob's dustbin. Now you're ready to open up Bob. Remove the following 8 screws on Bob's underside. Then remove the 8 screws for the bumper attachments. Set aside the bumper attachment. Flip Bob to remove the bumper. Lift the bumper and disconnect the circuit plug that is connected to the bumper. Then remove the bumper. Now it's time to lift Bob's cover. Loosen the cover slowly from the back side and carefully lift the top cover. Now it's time to remove Bob's lower cover. Remove the 2 screws on the left and right side of the lower cover and lift the lower cover. Disconnect the 3 circuit plugs connected to the motherboard. Set aside the lower cover. Now it's time to replace the main brush motor. First, lift up the vacuum motor connector and the speaker wire and put them out of the way. Then lift up the USB port connector and put it out of the way. Disconnect the circuit plug that connects the motor to the main board. Remove the 4 screws that hold the main brush motor in place. Then remove the motor. Install the new motor. Before replacing the screws, make sure the left side of the USB port wires are positioned underneath the motor, and the right side wires and connector are positioned to the side of the motor. Then replace the 4 screws. Reconnect the circuit plug to the main board. Replace the USB port connector and vacuum motor connector. The main brush motor is now installed. Now it's time to put Bob back together. Connect the 2 circuit plugs from the main board to Bob's LiDAR, and the circuit plugs from the main board to Bob's buttons and display screen. Once connected, place Bob's lower cover back. Replace the 2 screws to close the lower cover. Replace Bob's top cover. Reinstall Bob's bumper. Reinstall the bumper attachments. Reinstall the 16 screws on Bob's underside. Replace the dustbin, the main brush bracket, and main brush. Replace the side brushes, battery, and anything else that's removed from Bob's underside. Flip Bob and hold the go button to power him on. Bob will chime and his screen will light up. Bob is now ready to clean again. Happy sweeping.